FBI has charged 3 people in a murder-for-hire plot from Iran targeting President-elect Trump and an American journalist.
2 of the men were arrested in New York and appeared in court just yesterday. NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delaney joins us now. Ken, this is a big deal. What new details do we have at this moment?
It is a big deal, Morgan and Vicky, and the Justice Department announcing these murder-for-hire charges. They say that the orchestrator of the plot is still in Iran, and they say that he was working for Iranian intelligence, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and that the 2 men that he hired are the people that they arrested in New York. And they say that the reason they know that Donald Trump was among the targets of this plot was that man, the orchestrator, Farhad Shakiri, actually spoke to the FBI from Iran with voluntary interviews and gave details about this plot, knowing he could not be captured in Iran by U.S. law enforcement. And the indictment says that there was an effort. He did that in order to get a reduced sentence for another Iranian who is in prison in the United States. But what the U.S. government is saying here is that this is the latest in a series of plots sponsored by the Iranian government against American officials, former officials, and also this journalist in New York City who's been the subject of other Iranian murder-for-hire plots. A huge provocation, alleged provocation by Iran at a really sensitive time with a president-elect coming into office who has promised to step up the pressure on Iran. Murder-for-hire charges announced against 3 people.
Some of the chaos people feared would happen after this election. We know there's a 3rd suspect, Ken, who is still at large. What do we know about that person and their potential whereabouts?
Yeah, that's the man I was just talking about, Farhad Shakiri, who actually talked to the FBI by phone from Iran. He is in Iran, and so for now, outside the reach of U.S. law enforcement. He's the person that was allegedly working for the Iranian government, and he had spent time in the United States and even had served time in prison, according to the indictment, and so speaks English, but now is back in Iran. And again, the charging documents say that he was the leader and the orchestrator of this plot on behalf of the Iranian government.
Now, why would these people have a murder-for-hire plot against Donald Trump? Why did this never actually come out as far as against Kamala Harris or Biden or anything like that? Not that we want it, because we don't. And we don't want any of our officials to ever be harmed by any murder-for-hire plot. But why is it that Trump is the most attempted person whose life is to be taken? People take more attempts on his life than anybody that I've seen in history publicly. And why is it that that's a thing for Donald Trump? Well, let me tell you why, and this is my theory, right? This is my opinion, is that he's an actual threat to world peace. And when he was in office, Iran was broke and had placed so many sanctions on Iran that they couldn't assist in any proxy war or assisting in going against anybody. But now they've been in a position to be able to execute flawlessly their plan to create world chaos. And one of the reasons is because Donald Trump wasn't in office, which then weakened the United States of America and allowed for them, I don't like this in my beard, allowed for them to continue to have these murder-for-hire plots. You see what I'm saying? So, now that Trump is in office, what we've been seeing in less than 3 days is people across the board have been falling in line, locally, internationally, so on and so forth. We've seen Vladimir Putin, and he was talking about, hey, we need to accept a phone call. I wouldn't be above him making a phone call in order to get in touch with Donald Trump. And he's not even president yet. Thinking about that. He hasn't even been sworn into office as the 47th president of the United States yet on January 20th. And we all got everybody falling in line, and world peace is on the horizon. Yet people are still trying to take him out and eliminate him and remove his life because they know that he is a threat to the establishment. Now, another thing that's really bothersome to me is that these people were walking on American soil. And so my first thing is, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they just walked across the border. They just walked across the border. And so, they're leveraging the weakness of the American systems that is put in place to protect us and to vet people that come into this country. And now the FBI have to work overtime, and salute to them for actually finding out what's going on. The FBI have to work overtime in order to prevent an assassination on the president-elect of the United States of America. And that's unfortunate because we don't need that. The last thing that we need is for these liberal extremists to get into a position where they can start running into Victim Olympics even more because they know that he is a threat to the establishment in the way in which we're going about doing things, and we need to be taking care of business. So, yes, there is an Iranian plot there was a plot to try to assassinate President Trump. I would say that we need to continue to hold him up in our prayers, and we have to make sure that we're vigilant in supporting this administration to clean up what we've known to be a corrupt political system. And more importantly, I believe that this is the reason why he's been placed in office in the first place, because we have a golden age. We have a potential golden age that's ahead of us that can get us back to traditional values while at the same time increasing our economic status in the world and individually so that we can take care of our family and ultimately become the most powerful nation again in the world. I don't believe that this is a mistake. I believe that this is by design. Again, we have to make sure that we're vigilant as supporters now that we've been vigilant as voters to support Donald Trump. But the reports are coming out that people are going crazy, and we got to pray for our nation, to be honest with you. I mean, I hate to put it like that because I like to just keep it dry, clean, cut, and dry across the board and just say, hey, this is what it is and just report the news. But I just got to tell you the truth. We have to pray for our nation because it has not only been in shambles over the last 3.5 years, but people are crazy. People are insane. They are doing wild things that is not in the best interest of our country. It's not. We all know that he's the person to fix this mess, and we need to get back to traditional values. And to get Trump in office is a blessing. The whole nation was practically red except for these Democratic strongholds. And it's bad. It's absolutely bad. But I am praying for the President of the United States of America, the President-elect of the United States of America. It seemed as though Biden was excited to have Trump back in office. Sleepy Joe can go ahead and get his quilt and he can get back to it. Ditto for Kamala Harris. You haven't even heard from her. You haven't heard anything about or from Kamala Harris since she did her concession speech. Who knows what her plans are? Gavin Newsom, Letitia James. I mean, we got people that are terrorizing the United States of America right on our own soil within political office right now, let alone the people that's outside of the country. So, yes, we do need to close off our borders. Yes, we need to put more American resources into what it is that we got going on here. And yes, we need to be very vigilant about protecting the United States of America and the people that are our leaders that's ultimately going to get us back on board. Y'all let us know what you think inside of the comments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon link is in the description. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, and get your tickets for Detroit show, December 14th, discount code Anton. That link is in the description. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to stay on top of it. Peace.